13. Put the pressure on yourself. The first requisite for success is the ability to apply your physical and mental energies to one problem incessantly without growing weary. Thomas Edison. The world is full of people who are waiting for someone to come along and motivate them to be the kind of people they wish they could be. The problem is that no one is coming to the rescue. These people are waiting for a bus on a street where no buses pass. If they don't take charge of their lives and put the pressure on themselves, they can end up waiting forever. And that is what most people do. Only about 2% of people can work entirely without supervision. We call these people leaders. This is the kind of person you are meant to be and that you can be, if you decide to be. To reach your full potential, you must form the habit of putting the pressure on yourself and not waiting for someone else to come along and do it for you. You must choose your own frogs and then make yourself eat them in their order of importance. Lead the field. See yourself as a role model. Raise the bar on yourself. The standards you set for your own work and behavior should be higher than anyone else could set for you. Make a game of starting a little earlier, working a little harder, and staying a little later. Always look for ways to go the extra mile, to do more than you are paid for. Your self-esteem has been defined by psychologist Nathaniel Branden as the reputation you have with yourself. You build up or pull down your reputation. Reputation you have with yourself. You build up or pull down your reputation with yourself with everything you do or fail to do. The good news is that you feel better about yourself whenever you push yourself to do your best. You increase your self-esteem whenever you go beyond the point where the average person would normally quit. Create imaginary deadlines. One of the best ways for you to overcome procrastination and get more things done faster is by working as though you had only one day to get your most important jobs done. Imagine each day that you have just received an emergency message and that you will have to leave town tomorrow for a month. If you had to leave town for a month, what would you make absolutely sure that you got done before you left? Whatever your answer, go to work on that task right now. Another way to put pressure on yourself is to imagine that you just received an all-expenses-paid vacation at a beautiful resort as a prize, but you will have to leave tomorrow morning on the vacation or it will be given to someone else. What would you be determined to finish before you left so that you could take that vacation? Whatever it is, start on that one job immediately. Successful people continually put the pressure on themselves to perform at high levels. Unsuccessful people have to be instructed and pressured by others. By putting the pressure on yourself, you will accomplish more tasks better and faster than ever. You will become a high-performance, high-achieving personality. You will feel terrific about yourself, and bit by bit you will build the habit of rapid task completion that will then go on to serve you all the days of your life. Eat that frog. 1. Set deadlines and sub-deadlines on every task and activity. Create your own forcing system. Raise the bar on yourself and don't let yourself off the hook. Once you've set yourself a deadline, stick to it and even try to beat it. 2. Write out every step of a major job or project before you begin. Determine how many minutes and hours you will require to complete each phase. Then race against your own clock. Beat your own deadlines. Make it a game and resolve to win. 14. Motivate yourself into action. It is in the compelling zest of high adventure and of victory, and of creative action that man finds his supreme joys. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. To perform at your best, you must become your own personal cheerleader. You must develop a routine of coaching yourself and encouraging yourself to play at the top of your game. Most of your emotions, positive or negative, are determined by how you talk to yourself on a minute-to-minute basis. It is not what happens to you, but the way that you interpret the things that are happening to you that determines how you feel. Your version of events largely determines whether these events motivate or demotivate you, whether they energize or de-energize you. To keep yourself motivated, you must resolve to become a complete optimist. You must decide to respond positively to the words, actions, and reactions of the people and situations around you. You must refuse to let the unavoidable difficulties and setbacks of daily life affect your mood or emotions. Control your inner dialogue. Your level of self-esteem, how much you like and respect yourself, is central to your levels of motivation and persistence. You should talk to yourself positively all the time to boost your self-esteem. Say, "I like myself. I like myself," over and over until you begin to believe it and behave like a person with a high-performance personality. To keep yourself motivated and to overcome feelings of doubt or fear, continually tell yourself, "I can do it. I can do it." When people ask you how you are, always tell them, "I feel terrific." No matter how you really feel at the moment or what is happening in your life, resolve to remain cheerful and upbeat. As Viktor Frankl wrote in his best-selling book Man's Search for Meaning, the last of the human freedoms is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. Refuse to complain about your problems. Keep them to yourself. As speaker humorist Ed Foreman says, you should never share your problems with others, because 80% of people don't care about them anyway, and the other 20% are kind of glad that you've got them in the first place. Develop a positive mental attitude. In Martin Seligman's 22-year study at the University of Pennsylvania, summarized in his book Learned Optimism, he determined that optimism is the most important quality you can develop for personal and professional success and happiness. Optimistic people seem to be more effective in almost every area of life. It turns out that optimists have 4 special behaviors, all learned through practice and repetition. First, optimists look for the good in every situation. No matter what goes wrong, they always look for something good or beneficial. And not surprisingly, they always seem to find it. Second, optimists always seek the valuable lesson in every setback or difficulty. They believe that difficulties come not to obstruct, but to instruct. They believe that each setback or obstacle contains a valuable lesson they can learn and grow from, and they are determined to find it. Third, optimists always look for the solution to every problem. Instead of blaming or complaining when things go wrong, they become action-oriented. They ask questions like, "What's the solution? What can we do now? What's the next step?" Fourth, optimists think and talk continually about their goals. They think about what they want and how to get it. They think and talk about the future and where they are going rather than the past and where they came from. They are always looking forward rather than backward. When you continually visualize your goals and ideals and talk to yourself in a positive way, you feel more focused and energized. You feel more confident and creative. You experience a greater sense of control and personal power. And the more positive and motivated you feel, the more eager you will be to get started and the more determined you will be to keep going. Eat that frog. 1. Control your thoughts. Remember, you become what you think about most of the time. Be sure that you are thinking and talking about the things you want rather than the things you don't want. 2. Keep your mind positive by accepting complete responsibility for yourself and for everything that happens to you. Refuse to criticize others, complain, or blame others for anything. Resolve to make progress rather than excuses. Keep your thoughts and your energy focused forward on what you can do right now to improve your life, and let the rest go. 15. Technology is a terrible master. There is more to life than just increasing its speed. Mohandas Gandhi. Technology can be your best friend or your worst enemy. Technology becomes the enemy when we give in to an obsessive need to communicate continually. This compulsion to stay plugged in leaves us all psychologically breathless. We have no time to stop, smell the roses, and collect our thoughts. You have a choice. The key is to keep your relationship with technology under control. Bill Gross, who managed more than $600 billion in fixed income funds and bonds when he was with PIMCO, is famous for exercising regularly and meditating daily to keep centered while using no technology at all. Despite turning off all his devices, he never misses an important message. For you to stay calm, clear-headed, and capable of performing at your best, detach on a regular basis from the technology that overwhelms you. A researcher who asked a group of CEOs and entrepreneurs to unplug from technology found they had improved memory, deeper relationships, better sleep, and a greater likelihood of making life-transforming decisions. 1. When people are too plugged in, communications technology quickly becomes a destructive addiction. People wake up in the morning and obsessively check all their phone notifications before leaving their beds. They then race to their computers for yet more typing, before even eating breakfast, drinking water, or brushing their teeth. People are now checking their smartphones about 46 times each day according to one study too, and about 85 times a day according to another study, which found that people were accessing their phones twice as often as they thought. 3. Don't become addicted. In Washington not long ago, I was at a business luncheon with a roomful of high-level executives. Prior to the beginning of the luncheon, one of the organizers stood up and said a short grace. All the executives bowed their heads. When the grace was over, the luncheon began. However, at my table, 4 or 5 out of the 8 people seemed to have been greatly affected by the prayer. They kept their heads down and their hands in their laps, even when the food was served. They seemed to be lost in deep thought over the profound questions of the day. Then I realized that they were not praying at all. They were all intensely focused on their smartphones, sending and receiving emails, typing like frantic teenagers, playing video games. They were all lost to the world around them, drowning in a deep sink full of information exchange. Take back your time. One of my clients found himself bound and chained to his computer, receiving and responding to emails several hours each day. The more time he spent at his computer, the fewer of his other important tasks he was able to get done. The stress caused by these undone tasks, building up like an avalanche overhang, started to affect his personality, his health, and his sleeping habits. We taught him about the 80-20 rule and how it applied to emails. He deleted and unsubscribed from the 80% of his emails that had no value. Of the remaining 20%, only 4% required immediate responses. The other 16% could be transferred to an action folder to be worked on later. Refuse to be a slave. Unchain yourself from your computer. Unsubscribe from all unwanted newsletters. Set up an autoresponder that says, "I check my email only twice per day. I will reply as soon as possible. If this is an emergency, phone this number." A journalist for Fortune magazine once wrote that when he arrived back at the office after a 2-week European vacation, he had more than 700 emails waiting for him. He realized that it would take him a week to get through them all before starting on important projects. For the first time in his career, he took a deep breath and punched the delete all button, erasing those 700 emails forever. He then got busy with the projects that were really important to him and his company. His explanation was simple: I realized that, just because somebody sends me an email, it does not mean that they own a piece of my life. Although not many people would delete their entire inbox, you can definitely delete and ignore more emails than you do right now. Empower yourself to remove all emails that don't relate to important goals and relationships. Someone will tell you. People often ask me at my seminars, "But don't you have to stay plugged into technology to keep current with the news?" I tell them, if it is really important, someone will tell you. Many people unplug from the news, and surprisingly enough, they remain well informed on most important subjects. You should do the same. Eat that frog. 1. Resolve today to create zones of silence during your day-to-day activities. Turn off your computer and your smartphone for 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the afternoon. You will be amazed at what happens. Nothing. 2. Resolve to unplug from technology for 1 full day each week. By the end of your digital detox, your mind will be calm and clear. When your mental batteries have time to recharge, you will be much more effective at eating frogs. 16. Technology is a wonderful servant. Technology is just a tool. Melinda Gates. You must discipline yourself to treat technology as a servant, not as a master. The purpose of technology is to make your life smoother and easier, not to create complexity, confusion, and stress. Usually, to get more done of higher value, you have to stop doing things of lower value. Keep asking yourself, what's important here? What is most important for you to accomplish at work? What is important in your personal life? If you could do only 1 or 2 of the activities available to you, which ones would they be? Use your technological tools to regularly remind yourself of what is most important and protect yourself from what is least important. Technology can be a simple way to get control of your communications, your time, and even your emotions. Take control of your communication. Clear your digital workspace as you would your physical desk. Close every program not needed for the task at hand. Block the websites that distract you the most. Make sure that only the communication channels you need to complete your task are open. Most tasks require some communication, but having 10 different ways to communicate is overkill. Once only relevant information is visible on your screen, arrange your windows for perfect workflow. Show your smartphone who's boss by disabling all notifications, both audio and visual. This is an important step toward checking your phone on your own schedule and thus regaining control of your life. But what about emergencies? Workers with responsibility for young children, elderly parents, or disabled relatives may feel that unplugging from technology or disabling notifications is simply not an option. What if their elderly parent slips in the bath or their young child has an emergency at daycare? This is an absolutely valid concern. The solution, however, is not to be available to everyone at all times. Rather, create a phone number, email address, or other communication channel that only the caretaker of your loved one knows about. Leave that channel open and reserve it for emergencies. If you desire, you can do this for your work life as well. Give your boss or key clients a way to reach you that no one else has. You could also program your email manager to automatically sort emails from your most important work relationships into a read-first folder. In other words, segment your communication channels so that only frogs can hop into your castle of concentration. Take control of your time. Your calendar makes a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. Never automatically click accept on a digital invitation. Ask yourself if the invitation really fits your priorities before pressing the button. Schedule large blocks of time for task completion into your calendar, as if they were appointments. Be so aggressive about it that when people look at your calendar, they will see only a tiny slice of free time. This will impress them and motivate them to schedule shorter meetings. Your digital to-do list, otherwise known as task management software, is a powerful tool for taking control of your time. It has all the positives of a paper to-do list plus a few additional features. Digital to-do lists allow you to transfer items to another person's to-do list at the click of a button. This can help you delegate more efficiently, but make sure you accept only those tasks that are in line with your priorities. A digital to-do list can also be programmed to remind you relentlessly about your most important tasks. Take control of your emotions using technology. Many people fail to make technology their servant because they fear learning new skills. This fear can be mastered. Refuse to let it hold you back. Everything is learnable, and what others have learned, you can learn as well. Let your organization know that you are interested in learning about technological tools that will make you more efficient. If you have a friend, family member, or coworker who is a tech whiz, learn everything you can from that person. Above all else, avoid the phrase, "I can't." Technology is no longer optional, it is just as important as reading, writing, and arithmetic. And the idea that only certain kinds of people are good at technology is a myth. No matter your age, race, or gender, you have the power to master technology. If you do become frustrated, just remember that it happens to everyone. Even expert programmers who are paid hundreds of dollars an hour will sometimes be frustrated by technology. When you make technology your servant, it can be a source of positive, motivating emotions and increased productivity. Post your most important, stretch goal on social media and promise your followers you will achieve that goal. Update them daily on your progress so that if you skip a day or slack off, everyone will know. Posting on social media about your progress is a great way to reward yourself for making headway on long-term projects. When the payoff is far in the future, it can be hard to stay motivated, so getting likes or hearts from your followers on your daily updates can be a way to achieve a mini payoff. You can even seek out people in your field on social media and compete with them to see who can eat the most frogs. For example, many novelists like to share their daily word counts on Twitter so they can see who in their social circle is the fastest and most productive writer, and who gives in to procrastination. Stop being enslaved by social media, and make it work for you instead. It's simple. Instead of posting something trite, post about your life goals and seek the social support to conquer them. Eat that frog. 1. Resolve today to turn off all notifications, except for your emergency channels. Create special areas in your digital life for your most important tasks. 2. Resolve to research and install one piece of software or one app that will help you be more efficient and focused.